Conor Gallagher to United, the smart signing nobody is talking about. Welcome to United News, where we bring you the transfer stories that could actually make sense for Manchester United rather than the fantasy signings that will never happen. When your club needs midfield reinforcements, when the current options are not working, when you need experienced, dependable players rather than expensive gambles, you need someone to identify the realistic targets that could actually improve the team. That someone is us. Today, we need to talk about Conor Gallagher. Not the most glamorous name. Not the signing that will break the internet. But potentially exactly what Manchester United need right now. Reports suggest United are keen on the Atletico Madrid midfielder, though there is a disagreement about whether this should be a loan or a permanent transfer. Let me take you through everything you need to know about this potential signing and why it might be smarter than chasing the big money targets everyone else is talking about. The transfer story nobody expected. Let me start by laying out exactly what has been reported about Manchester United's interest in Conor Gallagher. According to TalkSport, Manchester United are reportedly keen on signing Gallagher from Atletico Madrid. The English midfielder is one of numerous targets United are considering as they look to strengthen their midfield. Here is where it gets interesting. The reported price is £35 million for a permanent transfer. However, Manchester United would prefer a loan deal instead. Atletico Madrid, on the other hand, want to sell him permanently. This difference in preferred deal structure could make negotiations tricky. United want to minimize financial commitment. Atletico want to recoup their investment and get Gallagher off their books permanently. The report also mentions that United are exploring several other midfield options, including more ambitious targets like Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. These players would cost significantly more than Gallagher. So United have options. Multiple midfield targets. Different price points. Different profiles. The question is which one makes the most sense. Why United need midfield reinforcements. Before we dive deeper into the Gallagher option, let me explain why Manchester United desperately need midfield reinforcements in the first place. The current midfield situation at United is problematic. Manuel Ugarte has been disappointing since his arrival. He was supposed to be one of the best defensive midfielders in the world. Instead, he barely plays. Ruben Amorim does not trust him enough to start big matches. Casemiro is 33 years old and clearly declining. Yes, he had a decent game against Liverpool. But he is not the solution for the next 3 or 4 years. His legs are going. His mobility is limited. He picks up stupid yellow cards. United need to be planning for life after Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes is being played deeper than he should be. This wastes his best qualities. United needs someone who can play in that deeper midfield role so Bruno can get forward and create. Kobbie Mainoo is not trusted by Amorim. Whether that is fair or not, the reality is that Mainoo barely plays. He cannot be relied upon as a regular starter right now. This leaves United desperately short of quality midfield options. They need to bring in at least one, probably 2 midfielders across the next couple of transfer windows. The question is who those midfielders should be. And this is where Conor Gallagher enters the conversation. Who is Conor Gallagher? For those who might not be completely familiar with Conor Gallagher, let me give you some background on who he is and what he brings as a player. Gallagher is a 24-year-old English midfielder who came through the Chelsea Academy. He spent time on loan at various clubs, including a particularly successful spell at Crystal Palace, where he was named their player of the season. After returning to Chelsea, Gallagher had some good moments but ultimately fell out of favor under the club's management. In the summer, he moved to Atletico Madrid in Spain. Gallagher started well at Atletico. He looked like a good signing for them. But recently, he has fallen down the pecking order. He is not starting matches as regularly as he would have hoped. This is why Atletico are reportedly open to selling him. As a player, Gallagher is known for his energy, work rate, and box-to-box capabilities. He can get forward and contribute in attack, but he also does defensive work. He covers ground. He makes tackles. He shows for the ball. Gallagher is not a spectacular player. He is not going to dribble past 5 opponents or score wonder goals regularly. But he is effective, dependable, and professional. He does his job without fuss. For England, Gallagher has earned caps and been part of major tournament squads. Gareth Southgate and now Thomas Tuchel have trusted him. That tells you something about his quality and mentality. Why Gallagher makes sense for United. Now let me explain why Conor Gallagher could actually be a smart signing for Manchester United. First, he is Premier League proven. Gallagher has already shown he can perform at the highest level of English football. There is no adjustment period needed. No risk that he cannot handle the pace and physicality of the Premier League. He has already done it. Second, he is English. This matters for squad building and homegrown player quotas. English players understand the culture and expectations of playing for a club like Manchester United. There are no language barriers or cultural adjustments needed. Third, he brings exactly the qualities United need. Energy in midfield. Work rate without the ball. Ability to cover ground and help defensively. These are things United desperately lack right now. Fourth, he is experienced at 24 years old but still young enough to improve further. This is the perfect age for a midfielder. Old enough to be reliable. Young enough to develop more. Fifth, the price is reasonable. £35 million is not cheap, but it is nowhere near the 60 or 70 million that someone like Baliba would cost. United could afford Gallagher without breaking the bank. Sixth, he is available. Atletico Madrid are willing to sell. The player would probably be interested in returning to England. The deal is actually possible, unlike some fantasy targets who would never realistically join United. The loan versus permanent debate. Here is where things get tricky. Manchester United want a loan deal. Atletico Madrid prefer a permanent £35 million sale. This creates a negotiation challenge. Let me explain both perspectives and why each club wants what they want. From United's perspective, a loan makes sense for several reasons. It reduces financial commitment. If Gallagher does not work out, United are not stuck with him permanently. It gives them flexibility. It allows them to assess him properly before committing long-term. United have burned through money on permanent signings that did not work out. Ugarte is the latest example. They paid big money for him and now he barely plays. Being more careful with permanent commitments makes sense given this recent history. A loan also preserves funds for other targets. If United spend £35 million on Gallagher permanently, that is £35 million they cannot spend elsewhere. But a loan would allow them to strengthen multiple positions. From Atletico Madrid's perspective, they want him sold permanently for clear financial reasons. They paid money to sign Gallagher from Chelsea. They want to recoup that investment. They want his wages off their books. A loan does not achieve these objectives. Atletico also do not want Gallagher returning after a loan spell. If he goes to United on loan, performs well, and United do not want to keep him, Atletico would be stuck with a player they have already decided does not fit their plans. So both positions make sense from each club's viewpoint. The question is whether they can find a compromise. Potential compromise solutions. Let me suggest some potential compromise solutions that could satisfy both Manchester United and Atletico Madrid. Option 1. Loan with obligation to buy. United get Gallagher on loan initially, which reduces immediate financial outlay. But the deal includes an obligation to purchase him permanently for £35 million at the end of the loan period. This gives United a chance to assess him while guaranteeing Atletico get their money eventually. Option 2. Loan with option to buy at a higher price. United loan Gallagher with an option to purchase him for, say, £40 million. The higher price compensates Atletico for accepting a loan structure. If Gallagher is brilliant, United pay the extra £5 million. If he is not, they do not exercise the option. Option 3. Permanent deal with lower upfront payment. United agree to buy Gallagher permanently for £35 million but structure the payments over multiple years. Maybe £15 million upfront and the rest spread over 3 seasons. This helps United's immediate cash flow while giving Atletico the permanent sale they want. Option 4. Loan with substantial loan fee. United pay a £5 or £6 million loan fee for 1 season. This gives Atletico significant money immediately even without a permanent sale. United get their loan but Atletico benefit financially. Any of these compromises could work if both clubs are willing to be flexible. The question is whether they are. The alternative targets. The report mentions that Manchester United are also looking at other midfield targets, including Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. Let me briefly discuss these alternatives and how they compare to Gallagher. Carlos Baleba plays for Brighton and is considered one of the most promising young midfielders in the Premier League. He is physically strong, technically good, and has huge potential. But he would cost £60 million or more. He is also less proven than Gallagher. Higher potential but also higher risk. Adam Wharton plays for Crystal Palace and is another highly rated young English midfielder. He has great passing range and composure on the ball. But again, he would be very expensive, probably £50 million or more. And he has only had one good season in the Premier League. He is largely unproven at the highest level. Compared to these alternatives, Gallagher is cheaper, more experienced, and lower risk. He might have a lower ceiling in terms of potential, but he has a higher floor in terms of what you can reliably expect from him. For a Manchester United team that needs dependable performers right now, not just potential stars for the future, Gallagher makes more sense than these riskier options. What Gallagher would bring to United. Let me be specific about what Conor Gallagher would actually bring to Manchester United's team if this transfer happens. First and most obviously, energy in midfield. Gallagher never stops running. He covers every blade of grass. He gets up and down the pitch constantly. United desperately need this kind of work rate in the middle of the park. Second, defensive contribution. Gallagher tracks back. He makes tackles. He wins the ball back. He does not leave his defensive partner exposed. This would be valuable alongside Bruno Fernandes, who is not naturally defensive. Third, ball progression. Gallagher can carry the ball forward and move it through the lines. He is not just a destroyer. He can actually help United progress from defense to attack efficiently. Fourth, leadership and mentality. Gallagher has captained teams before. He is vocal on the pitch. He demands standards from teammates. United need more of this kind of leadership in their squad. Fifth, versatility. Gallagher can play in various midfield roles. He can be the deepest midfielder. He can be a box-to-box player. He can even play higher up if needed. This flexibility is valuable for squad building. Sixth, Premier League experience and understanding. He knows how to handle the pace, physicality, and tactical demands of English football. There is no learning curve needed. These are all tangible benefits that would immediately improve Manchester United's squad, where Gallagher would fit in Amorim's system. Now let me discuss how Conor Gallagher would actually fit into Ruben Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system at Manchester United. In Amorim's formation, there are two central midfield positions. Currently, these are usually filled by combinations of Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, Manuel Ugarte, and occasionally Kobbie Mainoo. Gallagher would compete for one of these two spots. Most likely, he would partner with Bruno Fernandes in the double pivot. Gallagher would be the deeper of the two midfielders, doing more defensive work and allowing Bruno to get forward. This is basically the role that Amorim has been trying to use Casemiro in, but Gallagher is younger, more mobile, and has better legs. The question is whether Gallagher has the tactical discipline to play this role effectively. Can he maintain position? Can he protect the back three? Can he resist the urge to get forward at inappropriate times? Based on his performances for various clubs and for England, the answer seems to be yes. Gallagher has shown he can play disciplined roles when required. He understands tactical instructions and follows them. He might not be the perfect fit for every aspect of what Amorim wants, but he would be a significant upgrade on what United currently have available for that position. The risk factors to consider. Let me be balanced and discuss the potential risks and downsides of signing Conor Gallagher. First, he has fallen out of favor at Atletico Madrid fairly quickly. He started well but then lost his place. Why? If top coaches at Atletico decided he was not good enough, should United be wary? The counterargument is that Atletico have different tactical requirements than United. What does not work at one club can work brilliantly at another. And Gallagher has proven himself at multiple clubs before. His Atletico struggles might just be a bad fit rather than a reflection of declining ability. Second, Gallagher is not a spectacular player. He will not win you matches single-handedly. He will not produce highlight reel moments that excite fans. Some supporters might be underwhelmed by his signing. But sometimes what you need is not spectacular. Sometimes you need reliable and effective. If Gallagher does his job well, United will be better for it even if it is not exciting. Third, the £35 million price tag might seem steep for a player struggling at his current club. Are United overpaying for someone Atletico are actively trying to move on from? Market prices are what they are. $35 million for an experienced, Premier League proven English international midfielder is actually reasonable in today's inflated market. It is not a bargain, but it is not a rip-off either. Fourth, Gallagher has never played for a club the size of Manchester United. Can he handle the pressure and expectations? Can he perform on the biggest stages? This is a legitimate concern, but Gallagher has played for England in major tournaments. He has performed in big Premier League matches. He seems to have the mentality to handle pressure. But United would be taking some risk on this front. These risks exist, but they seem manageable compared to the potential benefits. Why this makes more sense than expensive gambles. Here is my big picture take on why the Gallagher deal makes more sense than splashing huge money on less proven targets. Manchester United have a terrible recent record of big money signings. Antony, Casemiro, Ugarte, Mount, and others have all disappointed to varying degrees despite costing huge amounts. The club needs to be smarter with their spending. Stop gambling on potential and start signing players who can reliably do a job. Gallagher at $35 million is a calculated risk rather than a wild gamble. If he does not work out, United have not lost a massive amount of money. They can move him on and try someone else. But spending 60 or 70 million on Baliba or Wharton, that is a huge gamble. If either of them flops, United take a massive financial hit and waste years trying to recover. Better to make smart, affordable signings like Gallagher who improve the team without breaking the bank. Build from a position of strength. Get the fundamentals right before chasing the spectacular signings. This is how well-run clubs operate. They identify value in the market. They sign players who fit their needs. They do not overpay for potential or gamble on unproven talent. If Manchester United truly want to get back to competing at the highest level, they need to start making these kinds of smart decisions. What needs to happen for this deal? For the Conor Gallagher transfer to actually happen, several things need to fall into place. First, Manchester United and Atletico Madrid need to agree on deal structure. Whether that is a loan, permanent sale, or some compromise between the two. Both clubs need to be satisfied. Second, personal terms need to be agreed with Gallagher. What wages would he want? What would the length of contract be? Would he actually want to join United given their current struggles? Third, United need to decide that Gallagher is their priority target rather than one of the alternatives. If they decide to pursue Baliba or Wharton instead, the Gallagher deal might not happen. Fourth, timing matters. Is this a January signing or a summer signing? The report does not specify. If it is January, negotiations need to happen soon. If it is summer, there is more time but also more risk that another club swoops in. Fifth, United need to make space in their squad. They cannot just keep adding midfielders without moving others on. If Gallagher comes in, does someone like Ugarte or Casemiro leave? All of these factors will determine whether this transfer actually happens or remains just speculation. What United fans should think. So what should Manchester United fans think about the possibility of signing Conor Gallagher? My advice is to be cautiously optimistic. This is not a signing that will make you jump out of your seat with excitement. But it is a signing that could genuinely improve the team in a meaningful way. Gallagher brings qualities United desperately need. Energy. Work rate, defensive contribution, Premier League experience. These are not glamorous, but they are important. If United signed Gallagher for $35 million, it would be a sensible, smart piece of business. Not exciting, not headline-grabbing, but sensible. And right now, Manchester United need to focus on sensible rather than spectacular. They need to rebuild properly with smart decisions rather than chasing glory signings that often flop. Gallagher fits that profile. He is the kind of signing that, in 2 years' time, everyone might look back on as really good business even if it did not feel exciting at the time. So United fans should support this potential signing. Give Gallagher a chance if he comes. Trust that sometimes the less glamorous options are actually the better options. Final thoughts on a potential smart signing. The Conor Gallagher to Manchester United story is not going to generate the same excitement as rumors about Bellingham or other superstar targets, but it might be more important than those fantasy signings. United need to be smarter in the transfer market. They need to stop gambling on expensive potential and start signing proven performers who can reliably do a job. Gallagher at 35 million, whether on loan or permanently, represents that kind of smart signing. He improves the team. He fills a genuine need. He does not cost a fortune. He is low risk. The disagreement between United wanting a loan and Atletico wanting a permanent sale is a hurdle but not an insurmountable one. With some flexibility and compromise, a deal can be found that works for everyone. If this transfer happens, United fans should be pleased even if not ecstatic. Sometimes the best signings are the ones that make sense rather than the ones that excite. Stay informed with United News. Thank you for reading this comprehensive analysis of Manchester United's potential move for Conor Gallagher. We hope this has given you a clear understanding of why this signing could make sense. Here at United News, we focus on realistic transfer stories that could actually happen rather than fantasy signings that never will. We give you honest assessments based on what the team actually needs. Keep checking back with United News for all the latest on Manchester United's transfer activity. We will track this Gallagher story and all other potential signings as the window progresses. What do you think about United potentially signing Gallagher? Would you prefer him or one of the more expensive alternatives? Share your thoughts with us and with other United fans. Glory, Man United. Sometimes the smartest signings are not the most exciting ones. Let us hope United makes some smart decisions in the transfer market for once.